Welcome everybody to another installment of Bleeding Green Nation's Bird Word of the Day. I'm your host Jordan Raanan, here to do something a little different. We're going to create Rookpectations. Now, how are we going to do this? We're going to create realistic expectations for the Eagles' 2012 Dream Draft Class using past history. The last 5 years, guys drafted in similar spots, similar positions as the Eagles draft picks. So, here we go. First pick, Fletcher Cox, number 12 overall pick, defensive tackle, Mississippi State, defensive tackle. Very hit or miss position in the NFL draft over the last 5 years. Of course, the Ndamukong Suh, Marcel Darius, huge successes, but drafted a lot higher in the draft. A lot of guys drafted around the 10 to 15 range, around where Fletcher Cox was taken. Very hit or miss. Now, what I expect Fletcher Cox to be is somewhere around what Tyson Alualu, and he was from the Jaguars a couple years back, Cedric Ellis with the Saints even before that, somewhere around where they performed. Now, you'll have to take into consideration that Fletcher Cox is unlikely to start. Cullen Jenkins, Mike Patterson, if he's healthy, and all indications are that he's going to be healthy, those are likely the Eagles starters. Now, Cox will be on the field plenty. He'll be on the field especially in pass rush situations. So he'll play about, let's say, 40% of the snaps, have about 3 sacks, and 35 to 40 tackles. Sounds pedestrian, but that's about the average of what a guy from his draft slot, number 12 overall, and his position, defensive tackle, have produced over the last 5 years. So that's about what the Eagles are going to get from Fletcher Cox. Now, the Eagles' second pick, number 46 overall, linebacker Michael Kendricks. Expect a little bit more. Even though he's drafted 34 spots later, Kendricks should outperform Fletcher Cox. And here's why. Just look at the list of second-round linebackers drafted in the last 5 years, and it's full of successes. Sean Lee, James Laurinaitis, David Harris, Paul Posluszny. These are good, quality NFL players, all taken in the second round, in around the same spot as Michael Kendricks, and they performed immediately. So we could expect, actually, Michael Kendricks to give the Eagles something immediately, and that's probably why he's already been penciled in as the starter at Sam linebacker, strong side linebacker for the Eagles. Now, what does that mean? What are the numbers going to be? About 70 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, a little bit of everything. That's what you could expect from Michael Kendricks based on the last 5 years and the guys drafted in similar spots. Now, the Eagles would sign on the dotted line for that right now, especially given the hole that's been at that position for the last 5 to 7 years. Eagles would be thrilled to hear that, to get that from Michael Kendricks. And I expect if he's healthy, that's about what he's going to produce. Now, Vinnie Curry, now he was the 59th overall pick, the Eagles' second rounder. Not quite the same expectations. Realistically, I mean, first of all, you have Jason Babin, Trent Cole, 2 Pro Bowlers at that position. They're going to start. They're going to get a majority of the snaps. Vinnie Curry is going to have to compete with Philip Hunt, with Darryl Tapp, with Brandon Graham, even to get in the rotation. So we're going to assume he sneaks his way into the back end of that rotation, and about average for that spot is about 2 sacks. Nothing significant, nothing huge. Very few guys, actually, defensive ends in the second round over the last 5 years have produced much. So to expect much from Vinnie Curry his rookie year might be a little bit of a reach. The only way I see him providing big numbers in any way is if the Eagles are devastated by injury at that position. So Vinnie Curry, we're going to say about 2 sacks, 20 tackles, somewhere in that range. Not much of a contribution. So, but it's going to be more than the Eagles' 3rd round pick. Quarterback Nick Foles out of Arizona. More of a project. He's not going to be the Eagles' backup quarterback this year. That's unlikely. He'll be learning the system, learning how to play quarterback in the NFL. Can't put a number on holding clipboards. I mean, there's no projections on holding the clipboard. He'll be a preseason, some preseason numbers here or there. He'll play a little bit in the preseason. Likely, we won't see him in the regular season at all, except for maybe some garbage time snaps at the end of a game. So that's the Eagles' first 3 rounds. We'll do rounds 4 to 7 later in the week. That's what we have so far for Rookpectations.